I've just come off an interview with a fascinating accountant from over in Texas. His name's Jonathan. He only started less than a year ago, and already he's getting some crazy good results. He was talking about how with one particular client, he got almost 3 times the price, and we're talking $70,000, and he has less work to do. And he talked about how it's all to do with mindset, communication. And so in the interview, I asked him to walk through what he's been doing. How did he get those sorts of results? So let's go and listen to Jonathan and find out what we can learn from his approach to pricing in his accounting firm. Hey Jonathan, it's great to have you on the show and find out more about what you're up to, because I know you're doing some amazing things with your pricing and with your practice that I can't wait to hear about. Before we get into that, it would be just good to get a bit of background to you, your practice, where you're from, how big it is, and so on.
Great. First of all, thanks for having me, Mark. Happy to share my story and a lot, in part, your help and mentorship through your program, Effective Pricing and Value Pricing Academy. I think it's great. A little bit about me, Jhonatan Aldama. I am based out of Austin, Texas, in the United States. Our firm is Nuve. We're a virtual accounting firm, full service, and we service clients all across the U.S. We just launched in December of 2020, so only have 7 months under our belts, but I've been doing accounting services before under my prior, I'd say, practice, but it was more of a part-time thing. But now it's full-time. We've been growing ever since. Right now it's me full-time, and I have 2 part-time staff, and then we also do some contracting for our bookkeeping services, more simpler clients, and that's really helping us bring on more clients on board. That's just a little bit about us.
Okay, cool. So yeah, all exciting times for first year of the new practice. So yeah, I hope it's going really well. So, but before we get into kind of what you're up to and the results, what were some of the frustrations that you were having with pricing, and what kind of led you to join the Value Pricing Academy?
Yeah, so before, honestly, I fell into kind of accounting services just because I have a lot of, I guess, network and friends in the small business, and I was doing some small work. They only do hourly billing because I wouldn't know exactly what I should price. I wouldn't know how long a project would take. So I would just be like, hey, I'm going to charge you X hourly and see how long it takes. So honestly, I had no control on what I was going to make, what I was going to charge. The clients, they were kind of guessing on like, oh, is this going to take 5 hours or is it going to take 30 hours? And I think that was the biggest pain point. And then also going hourly base, it really made my schedule very tight because I had to be billing every hour to really make money. And I wasn't even really making money because I was underpricing myself. And then usually I wasn't good at selling my service from bookkeeping to, like, I do some light advisory before, and it'd be the same hourly rate. So I wasn't good at, okay, this work is this rate and this work is this higher rate. So I think that was the biggest pain point, just having no control, not knowing what to charge, not having a structure, and not being able to communicate it to the client. So they just expect me to do whatever they need at the same base price, and then doing it quickly. So I think that was the biggest pain point, and it honestly was making the work not very fun. It was more like, okay, let me send a bill. Am I going to bill you weekly or monthly, depending on the project? It was a lot of a more back office and not enjoyment of interacting with the client and helping them grow. So that was really the big pain point for where I was before.
Yeah, and I can relate to that because I remember when I started my accounting firm way back now in 1996, for the first few years, I had no idea what I was doing. I was pricing based on the hour, and I remember back then that all the gurus were saying that as a sole practitioner that you have to do, I think it was 1,200 chargeable hours. You should have 70% of your time chargeable, and I was doing all that. The time was going on the timesheet. I was billing the hours, and I wasn't making money. And I thought something's wrong here. It's not making sense, this. So what were some of the things you did to fix that? What actions did you take?
Yeah, so I think during the pandemic and the start of it here in 2020, that's when I moved to remotely because before I was going to client offices, picking up paper documents, and then I moved remote because, of course, I couldn't go into their office. There were different restrictions, and that really allowed me to see, okay, I can do this differently. And then I started doing research, attending webinars for accounting industries, and learning about virtual accounting firms. And that's actually where I was introduced to you because I hadn't heard about you before, and I heard about value pricing and effective pricing. So I dug more into it. Uh, I think there was a different organization that recommended you as well. So I decided, okay, let me wait for the sign up because I think it wasn't available at the right time at that point. And then I waited for the sign up. I joined, and that's where I really started learning about it. And I was like, okay, it's kind of a mindset. So getting into value pricing and effective pricing, and I really clicked with it. And I decided, okay, I need to just completely launch a new firm based on this and really grow and have a vision on where we're going, what we're going to do. So pretty much from about June till December when we launched it last year, that's when I buckled down and created a new mission vision of this new accounting firm, what we're going to do, how are we going to price. And I joined your program and started creating our first packages, our first pricing models, and created a methodology on how we were going to operate and how we were going to be different from your standard accountant that's going to come in and charge you hourly and give you X, Y, and Z service. Uh, so it was honestly just starting from the ground up again. That was what most of my last year was focused on doing and launching Nuve and creating really a value based accounting firm, not just a service based accounting firm.
Okay, that's awesome. And you was so you mentioned there you said about how you spent some time planning your packages and models, and I think I'm right in saying that you use the effective pricing software now. So just talk a bit more about what you were doing with for people who don't know what packages are. What were you doing with packages and models? What was the specific things?
Yeah, so the great thing is that I learned the importance of packages because it helps us for selling. So, for example, our bookkeeping services, some people they just want you to go in there quarterly, enter their expenses, and be out. Bigger clients they want it weekly. They want to know financials. They want to know their P&Ls. They have fixed assets. So it's easier to have packages based on where the company is in their growth and of course their budgets and their goals. So you can go into a sales process and guide them on what they need as opposed to just coming in and be like and asking them, hey, what do you need? And then kind of filling in the blanks. You come in prepared and you know, okay, based on your size, where you're going, where you're telling me this is the best fit for you. And then you're starting at a further point in the sales process. And it's more communicative of like putting the last touches on your proposal and getting them the right price and understanding their business. And then in terms of effective pricing, the tool we use that solely to price pretty much everything, every service that we do. We tie it in with the package because it allows us to create the price for them during our proposal meetings instead of it being a guessing game. And it really has helped us remove that final question mark where before clients were wondering where did you get that budget, where did you get those hours, where did you get your hourly rate. uh, the system is giving them the price as they're entering their questions, as they're filling out what they need, what they're wanting to add to their packages, and then by the time they get to the final price they know how we got there based on what they chose, what they're wanting. So they don't even ask if like, hey, is that the final price, can you discount, because they know that's our price. Then we can adjust based if they need to remove certain things or add certain things. So it really helps remove all that questions behind why we got to that price.
Awesome, and that's obviously a very different way of pricing to kind of the old-fashioned way. When you started pricing in that way, pricing in front of the client and using the software-based approach, using effective pricing, did it feel strange? Did it feel uncomfortable? Did it get easier over time?
Yeah, yeah. At the beginning, honestly, it's very uncomfortable because you're in the proposal meeting and you're kind of seeing the price build with them. So sometimes you don't know what that final price is going to be until you see it with them. So you can't make adjustments. So it's kind of nervous at the beginning because you have to make sure you tested your model in effective pricing, that you know what adds what, so that when you see that price with the client at that proposal meeting, you're confident and you're not making adjustments or anything. So it does take some time to get used to it, but by the end of it, you're just so confident in how you built the model, how it's pricing, that you know you're not missing out on money, and you're also not overpricing your engagement. So you're really creating that value, and they see that value too because they know, hey, it's a fix. You're not guessing. You're not giving them a discount or overpricing them. It's based on what they selected along the way. So it definitely, I think it gave me more confidence with my proposals once I really understood it and used it more frequently uh, through all of our engagements.
Okay, so that's interesting. It's giving you confidence, and we might come back to that. The other question I had going through my mind was, so it's a different way of pricing. When you were sitting down with clients, potential clients, what sort of reactions were you getting when you priced in that way?
I think most of them are been pretty like happy about it, and or like they enjoyed it. I've even had some clients asking me, "Hey, is that a tool that you can use for my industry?" Just because they like the way it builds up. Because I have some clients that are one-on-one services as well. So like, oh, that's a neat tool. Is that something I can use on my side? So I think they really enjoyed it, how it builds the package with them, and they're selecting, so they feel involved in the price. It's not just me giving them, hey, this is your service, this is your price, take it or leave it. They built the package, so they've really enjoyed it, and that's why I think I've gotten those questions like, hey, is this available for other industries? Can we apply it to us? So I think it's definitely gotten good feedback. I don't think I've gotten any negative feedback. If anything, sometimes some people are surprised with the final price, but that's because they selected everything at the beginning. Everyone's like, I wanted it all. And then, but then we can make those step backs and make the adjustments to fit their budget. So they enjoy the tool at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, cool. That's really interesting, and I've heard that before, where clients have said, "Oh, can I price in that way?" That's a really cool way of pricing. So, tell us a bit about some of some of the results that you're getting. What's this doing for you?
It honestly has helped me making sure that I am not guessing on what a price should be. Uh, it also allows me to really sell a client the value. For example, prior, we brought one big client from before my practice to this practice, and they were an hourly rate. And honestly, I was spending, they're a larger client, so like about 10 hours a week on them specifically, and providing them a value, and then we moved them to value pricing and created a package for them, and their price has increased significantly. I think I'm going to bill them about 70,000 for the year here in 2021, but my hours now with them are about an hour and a half a week. Of course, we have some bookkeeping that our other staff does, but it's able to reduce their expectation of like, oh, you should be on our project for X hours, because they relate that the hours that you spend on them to value sometimes. But if we get them away from that, they understand. Oh no, you're bringing me this value. It doesn't matter if you bring it to me in an hour or in 10 hours. You're going to create this value for my organization. So I think that's what's helped me to increase my how people interpret my value in price point, but then also they are not have expectations on how many hours I'm going to spend on their company answering phone calls or doing services for them. It's just what their final product is going to receive and how it's going to be beneficial for their company. So that's the big thing. And then additionally, I mean, I think having effective pricing and packaging has helped me upsell even new clients. I mean, we've only been using it for about 7 months now, but we've been booking clients, and after 3 months, let's say they sign up for bookkeeping, they see value, they're like, what else do you have? And we have packages that can add on to that. So it's easier to upsell them on different services so they can continue to grow as well. So I think it helps you with clients you have now, and then also bring in new clients as well.
Also, I was just going to think about that client just there. So when you said you think this year it's going to be about 70,000, what might that have been before? What sort of increase? What sort of increase is that?
So for 2020, when we were on the hourly rate and going 10 hours a week, I think they were about 25,000 for the year. So we did add a couple services, but then overall we were able to reduce our hourly. and show them the value. Because, for example, last year we helped them do, I think, an acquisition and different, so they know the value in us and how we're providing. Because we also do advisory. A lot of that is advisory service, so they understand the value. So it sometimes takes that's a little bit more time to build that relationship to get to a $70,000 client. But I think effective pricing really helps you properly sell them that 70,000, because before it would be hard to tell them, hey, I'm going to raise my hourly rate X amounts, and I'm still going to come in these hours or less hours. So I think that helped soften that blow and them understand that, hey, we're still going to bring you more value, even though hours might adjust, and they're not even thinking about, okay, what does that come out to an hour? So it's really helping them see the value overall.
Wow, that's extraordinary. So if I've kind of understood that right, and to kind of summarize, so that's with that particular client, you've almost got 3 times the price. You now spend less time doing the work, and that's largely because you're now in your conversations focusing on value, on the outcomes, the results, and not the hours that you're spending. Is that kind of a good summary of that?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Because before, I think we would go in, hey, this will probably take us about X hours a week at this rate. Now we're coming in, hey, we're going to provide you these services. You're going to get this value. You're going to get us expertise in these sections. We're going to provide you this additional dashboard sort of things. And then at the end, they see the price, but they see everything they're going to get first. So they're more confident in that price because they know the value of that at the end, instead of going in first with like how many hours and how we're going to build them. So I think the mindset of that really helps them.
Yeah, that's it. And you've mentioned a few times now the word mindset. So talk a little bit more about how your mindset has changed. What's that kind of meant? How has that changed your approach to pricing?
Yeah, I think the reason I really use that word and the way we built Nuve, our firm, around that is, so have sold other businesses before. So I have that entrepreneur mindset too, to where sometimes we have tight budgets. Sometimes we're trying to not spend as much. So I know that that's a big pain point to a growing business, is like, hey, let's keep things under these pricing and let's try to pay the least possible to make our profit bigger. And I think getting people to understand, hey, you need these accounting services and they're going to provide you value and grow your bottom line more than you think you're going to spend. I think that's an approach that we're trying to bring to them. And now with us too, we know that we're not just coming in and doing a service that is, I'm trying to put it into words, where you can just calculate, hey, this is $1, you're going to get $1.20. We're creating different value for your organization that's more long term. So we're trying to explain that to them and help them understand the value above that. So I definitely think it's more of a mindset that we have to get in as an accounting firm, and then be able to communicate that properly to them so they understand. Because I'm very, one of our core values is transparency. So we want to make sure they understand what we're doing. We're not just selling them. I'm not just trying to make more money from a client. I want them to grow, because if they grow, I grow. It's bringing them the value and helping them have those additional services that help them grow is going to be mutually beneficial. So we have to get in that mindset too, so they understand as well.
Jonathan, I love that explanation. That's incredible. So I'm conscious of time, and you've already given up a lot of time. So I have a couple more questions. I know you've not been on this journey for long. It's still kind of early days, and you gave one example. It was an amazing one. But if you think about the journey since you've been changing the way you price, what would you describe would be the big benefits, the big result, whether that's in terms of increasing prices or just an emotional kind of thing? How would you describe it's changed things?
I think two main things is, obviously it helps you be more profitable because you're selling your value at the price that it's worth. You're not underselling, because before it was a lot of underselling. Hey, it's probably not worth that, or they're not going to see it, so I'm going to undercut my price. So you're becoming more profitable, and you're also enjoying it because you know you're going to a client, they're paying you what you're worth, so you're happier. You're going in there, you're happier to meet with them. And at the end of the day, it makes you happy just in general, because you're enjoying your work, you're enjoying your clients, you're with those people that you enjoy working with, client base. So I think that's what I love about our service is that we're kind of able to pick our clients sometimes. And if we don't want to work with someone, we don't have to. And I think this pricing just gives you an overall happiness of where you are and what you're providing because you know you're being valued as an individual and as a firm and as your business.
Wow. So more profit and more fun. Sounds like a great result. So kind of final question for you is for the benefit of people watching who haven't started value pricing yet or changing. If you were to give 3 tips based on things that you've learned, what would those 3 things be?
Yeah, I think the first one for sure, and that's why I started the new firm, is you need to have a almost end goal or know where you're going in 5, 10, 15 years, because that way you can create that path to get there. And you can then incorporate effective pricing and value pricing into there to get you to that spot of where you're shooting for. And then going off that too, I think the next thing that I've learned great is value pricing. Like I mentioned a few times, and you brought it up too. It's a mindset of like understanding, getting your head into that thought process. So I think really at the beginning, taking the time to understand why and how it works and how it's going to create value, not just for you profit wise, but your client as well, is really going to help you kind of strive for it and really do the work of getting your effective pricing, getting your packages together. So really understanding the mindset first is going to help you be more motivated to get there. And then I think it also is going to help your sales process. Because I think one of our first points was it makes the sales easier. It makes you more confident, more comfortable because you've built everything around it. So the sales will come if you're motivated, you have goals, and you understand what you're selling and why you're selling it and why it's valued at that. So I think those are the 3 main things that really has helped align where we're going and what we're shooting to make the firm to be. Oh, I can't hear you, Mark. I'm not sure if...
No, that was my fault. Sorry. I was just muting myself to make sure there was no echo when you were talking, and then I forgot to unmute myself. So my fault. Yeah. So I was just saying, Jonathan, that's the awesome tips you shared there, and thank you so much for sharing so much on this session. It's been you've achieved so much in a short space of time. It's impressive what you've done since you started, and to start a new practice kind of in the midst of all this big change with COVID and pandemic is impressive. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for coming on. And I look forward to seeing how this journey progresses, because I know that there's going to be so much more that you do in your practice. I can see that that you're an action taker, doing great things and building something special.
Awesome. Thank you for having me and for sharing your story, and look forward to continue to be part of the Value Pricing Academy and continue to grow.
Thank you, Jonathan. Take care. Goodbye for now.
Here.
So many great learning points in that interview from Jonathan. If you enjoyed this, then give it the thumbs up, please. Subscribe to the channel. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments. And I've put in down below in the description, I've put some links to some other resources. So if you want to learn more about value pricing and learn more about some of the things that Jonathan talked about, then we'll put them underneath, including a link to the effective pricing software if you're not yet using it. There are many firms using it to get much, much higher prices. And interestingly, one of the things he said, which I hear over and over again, is when I have a pricing system, it gives me more confidence with pricing. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Goodbye for now.